Before I start, I wanted to say that I had one opinion of these pencils in the beginning, and my opinion kind of morphed through the video. So you might want to listen a little bit at the end also, because well, not kind of changed my mind. I definitely changed my mind. So there's a heads up, and this color chart will also be available at the end. So stay tuned.
Hi, it's Dia. Today I'm going to be reviewing this set of 36 June Gold mechanical colored pencils, and I'm going to be drawing a picture in the Buns Artist Edition right here, which I have done before, but I've done it in digital. So this time I'm going to take these pencils and see how it works. So first, the packaging. It's put together pretty well in a plastic box or container, sealed very nicely. And the first thing I noticed was the satisfaction guarantee. So I guess if you don't like it, you can return them or contact the company. So I love that. And as you can see here, well,
First, I thought this was an eraser. Then I thought it was nothing except for where you push to make the lead come out the bottom. The lead, by the way, is 2 millimeter lead, not point 0.2, but 2. So that's pretty thick. And surprise, surprise, this company makes refills for this set. So I thought that was pretty cool. Now, unfortunately, I didn't know that those were sharpeners at the end of every single pencil, specifically made for that tiny little point. And I went through this whole part of the video without knowing that and sharpening it on a piece of paper. So you'll hear me mention over and over how I did that, unfortunately.
now these are a little bit different. As you can see, the points are thicker, and it kind of reminded me of makeup, certain eyeliners. So what I decided to do is just see how they worked. I just went right in, started out with a really light pink, went with a bit of a brighter pink, and then I started to throw in some shadows with two different color purples. Once again, they're not numbered, and they're not named. So I'll be making up a quick color chart with numbers and names, and it'll be available below for anybody who wants that. So, first blush, these pencils, excuse me, are kind of hard. They reminded me a little bit of a mixture of Crayola and Guanghui pencils.
To be fair, at this point, I think I've only tried 2 pencils.
So they held a point really well. Now, it says on the box that they're oil-based pencils, and I think I had an idea that they were going to be a little bit like polychromos pencils, because I guess quickly off the top of my head, that's the first thing I think of when I think of oil pencils, because maybe that was the first set that I ever used that I spent any amount of considerable money on. Um, so that's sort of my guideline for all oil pencils. Those are extremely pigmented, also hold a good point. Um, and as you know, if you've watched any of my videos, I love them. These are not as pigmented as polychromos pencils, but the colors are very nice. And one thing I do have to say about the colors, sometimes in the less expensive sets, many of which I have reviewed, if the if there are four, let's say, purples in a set or pinks in a set, some of them, well, many of them will be almost identical, and it would be hard to differentiate. That's not the case with this set. Two of the purples look similar in the barrel. It looks like I kind of thought it was going to be that same thing. It was going to be exactly the same when I drew it, but that wasn't the case. One of the purples was very purple, one of them was very plum, which doesn't sound like a big deal, but to me that was a big deal, because you can get different shadows, you can get different looks. So that part of this set gave me a huge thumbs up, and it wasn't only with the purples, it was with the blues, the pinks, the reds. I was really impressed with that part of this set for sure. So as you can see also, I tried to use this set just like I would use any other set, um, with layer after layer. So in the very center, I started with the lightest pink, which almost lent itself to a very light flesh color. And then as I went out toward the edge of the cup, I went into a pink and then a fuchsia and then the two different purples. So I did use several layers, and it did accept the several layers that I used, but it didn't come out as intense as I would have liked if I was using a Prismacolor or an Arteza or um, Polychromos, like I said before. So here I used the white, which I like to do, to blend. You can also use a colorless blender. Several companies have them. And yes, it did blend a bit, but once again, not as good as the more expensive sets. I think it's because the lead is very hard. So this set is almost a mixture of, or it can be used for either um, coloring, or I think it would be perfect for people who use, um, not, they're not diaries. What are they? They're journals. I think that they hold a point really well.
So unlike a Prismacolor pencil, because they do hold the point really well, and because they're so nice and portable, they're basically self-contained, and you could take very organized notes with them. And there are several colors in there that could act like highlighters also. So that's a really cool aspect of this set of pencils.
Now, all that being said, I think that these pencils would be almost the ultimate travel pencils.
They come in a relatively decent container, although you could transfer them into a pencil holder. The sharpeners are right on the top of every pencil. Um, you wouldn't have to carry with you any other sharpener, a little one, a medium one, an electric one. Um, you could just pop it right in your bag along with your favorite coloring book or sketch pad or whatever, and they're ready to be on the go.
So the bottom of this cup and saucer set, I thought would be good because good to uh, do a demo with these pencils, because I wanted to see if I could actually add some detail on the bottom, uh, make the bottom look a little bit more legitimate. So you can see that I added the extra rim around the edge, some shadows, and I have to say, I was I was worried about the darker colors because I had several layers here, as you can see, and then I started to go over some of the areas to even make more shadows. So I was crossing my fingers that these were going to go over, and they did. The dark blue that I used at the very end was amazing. Now here, I wanted to make little details. I'm not going to show the whole thing because it's just so tiny. I couldn't even get the camera close enough. Um, I filled in the edges and I used the light brown, the dark brown, a couple of grays and black. And I did use that side sharpening method. And with that second bun up there, you'll see it in a minute, I was able to add pretty fine detail. And the black and the blue, like I was just telling you about for the shadow, they are very intense and they will go over the top. Now here I just wanted to add some more colors. I added a blue and another green on the tea bag just to show you some other colors other than pink, purple, fuchsia, and violet. So the colors are nice. Actually, the colors are pretty beautiful. They're just not super intense. That very quick flash of blue was the blue that I was telling you about before that went over everything really nicely. I just was outlining some of the circles. I was repeatedly trying to go over to get a little bit more intensity, and it never got to be as intense as um, a more expensive set. But you know what? I didn't think that it would happen because it's very hard to get to the quality of those pencils to begin with. The turquoise blues that I used for contrast on the inside of the cup were also pretty gorgeous. And there was two different colors. So it was a lighter version and a darker version that I used on the edges that gave the impression of dimension and detail in the cup. So um, although these pencils are hard and not as intense, like I said twice now, as the more expensive, I really liked using these. I thought they were fun. They gave a really nice result to this cup. And like I said, also, traveling would be a snap and the whole thing would be so easy to just throw in a bag and take along with you.
So now I'm kind of doing an unfair comparison, but I want to do it first of all because I want to see if these mechanical pencils can compare to this other set of pencils that I used and really, really liked. Um, what did I use over there? Oh, I used the Castle Art pencils and I really liked them. Now, it's kind of unfair because, first of all, there was 72 in that set and there's only 36 in this set. But I want to see if, first of all, I can recreate it, and second of all, if it will look anywhere close to those Castle Art pencils, which I really liked. Now, straight away, there were many grays in the other set, and in this set, there's only one gray. So I was a little not stressed out, but I was kind of wondering if I could get that look because in the area that I'm coloring right now, you can see right off the bat that this is a much cooler gray. Up, you can hear the lawn guys in the background. Sorry about that. Um, you can see that the gray from the Castle Art set was very warm, and this is very cool. So I'm gonna have to see what this ends up like. I have a feeling that I'll be able to do it. I'm gonna mix a couple colors, but obviously I'm gonna have to work a little bit harder because there's less colors in the set. Now, in the first part of this video, I was using the pinks and the purples, and I was saying that the colors aren't as intense. Well, I started here with the black, and I have to take back what I said a little bit because this black is pretty intense. It's not as intense as Prismacolor or Polychromos or the Castle Art, but it's pretty good. Um, I had nothing to complain about. And I said that the pencils were a little harder than that. This black was so creamy. It felt so good to use that I wondered if I jumped the gun by saying the pencils were hard. And I think I did because as I was doing the color chart, I realized that most of them were actually not soft, but definitely not hard. I really like them. So I wanted to make some finer details, and here's me trying to figure out how to use those little sharpeners at the end of the pencil. So part of me kept thinking that it went one way, but it actually went the other way, and I had to make the point come out a little further, and I had to put that little white thing back on the end of the tip twice. I couldn't quite get my bearings with these. But then once I figured it out, okay, so here, to get the lead out, you actually have to put that little end back in. So once it was out there far enough, it twisted very easily and made a super sharp point. Then you just empty it right on a piece of paper or in the trash, and you get these little itty bitty fine shavings. So get rid of that pretty quickly because I could see where that could get all over the place with just one little accidental puff of air. So then I I put the lead back in a tiny bit and I started to draw some more fine details. Now, since they are a little bit harder, I did not break one point this entire time. Now, at the end, I'm going to be offering a color chart for these pencils, complete with names, numbers, and a reference picture because they have neither numbers or names at this point. And of course, I'll leave a downloadable link below in the information box. So, right about here, I started to wonder whether I spoke too soon about these pencils and wonder if I had to retract the statement of, not that I only said that they were good for journals, but I think that's where I was going, that they would be the most beneficial. So, right about here, I was wondering if the other colors were going to be as nice as this black, because as you can see at this point, it's holding right up to the castle art black that I was raving about. It's, you can see right here, it's not as bright or intense, whatever you want to refer to the black as, but it's great, and especially for, like I said before, traveling. I don't think these could be beat. So now I took the yellow and that sort of cactusy mossy green and started to try and recreate the eye so it looked similar to the eye on the other side. Now, right off the bat, that cactusy green was too mossy and too maybe even pickle colored, so I went over the top of that with this color. Oh, let me see what I named it. Okay, I named that light bright spring green Sprout. I named that yellow Daisy. I named the black pencil Helleborus, which is a beautiful black flower. I mean, it's truly black. One of the only flowers, in my opinion, that's black in nature. It's also it's also deadly. So if you have that in your garden, don't let your animals near it. And that orange color. Oh, and that's what kind of made me feel like I should make the color chart, because that one barrel looks very yellow and the orange is very orange, and I think that one was marigold. The gray is storm cloud, and I'm just going back over everything with storm cloud at this point, and right about here I was really happy with the results. Oh, now this color is sort of a fleshy peachy color, and I named it apricot lily after another flower. As you can see, there's a theme here, and I named them after beautiful things that you would see in the garden. Everything from sunshine to flowers to potting soil and the seasons. So what I did here was go over the top of that cool gray with this very, very light peachy color and tried to make it equal to the warm gray on the right hand side that I did with a color from the 72 set of Castle Art. And I was really happy with the results. I did end up going over the top of everything. First with the white pencil that I named Frostbite in the set, and second with odorless terpenoid to get the same results as the other eye. I've gotten ridiculed a little bit on YouTube before for comparing things that people didn't think were similar, apples to apples. They were accusing me of doing apples to oranges, like I was comparing the way a colored pencil picture would come out compared to, let's say, a Conti pastel picture. Pastel pencil picture. And I like to do that because people asked me in the past, oh, what are Contis like? And it's hard to explain them without showing the difference and hearing the difference as they draw, the different noises they make. So I wanted to see here what the difference would be. Yes, using colored pencils, but using a 36 set and a 72 set. And I learned so much from doing this. And I hope this helps you too, that you can get really nice results from a set that doesn't have as many pencils. You might have to work a little harder though. You might have to mix some colors together. You might have to go a little bit lighter or even darker, or do a couple of layers where if you had uh, more colors, you might have to just do it once. But that being said, it is possible. It's possible to create beautiful things. And there's something nice sometimes, not all the time, about having a limited palette. So about right here, I realized that the eye looked pretty similar. I can't say it's exact because the black isn't as super black as the other side, but I have a feeling that if I went over it a little bit more, that it would, and I might do that for the final picture here. I might go over everything at the end and fuss over it a bit so it even looks more like it. I think that that cool gray did end up looking like the neutral gray on the other side with the addition of that lighter peach color, and I really enjoyed doing this. Now I wanted to see if I could create that same purpley blue color, and I mixed a couple together, and that worked out too. So I hope this video was useful to you, and I do want to say that I have to change my mind about these pencils. Many of them were extremely pigmented, extremely colorful. I think that the one pink that I was using for the majority of the beginning color, and that's a lesson to me that I have to use a variety of colors, not just go by 3 or 4. Um, that that was probably lighter than the barrel showed, but the color itself was actually very, very nice. So I would definitely give these pencils a thumbs up. The price can't be beat. They're $11.99 for 36 mechanical pencils with the sharpener on the end of each pencil. I will put that link below. Um, like I said, they have the sharpener. They have a money back or a satisfaction guarantee. And as you can see, they work very nice. They're smooth, they're creamy. I had a ball with these. The portability, I don't know. I think that I would be tossing these in my bag and carrying them with me because they're portable, super convenient, and a whole lot of fun. Last little bit of info, they blended really well with the turpenoid and that brush. Oh, also, I'm going to put a link below to the refills for these pencils also. So that's about it for now. Thank you for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed it and I hope it was helpful. I don't know if you knew about these pencils. I had no idea. I'm so glad I found them. Stay tuned. In a few days, probably, I am going to be giving away a set of these, and I'm also currently giving away another set in my private coloring gallery on Facebook. I hope you find me there because that giveaway is only for members of my group. So find me on Facebook, Lenihan Coloring Gallery. And I hope you all know that I really appreciate you all so much. And I'm really glad you're here. I love making these videos for you. And what do you think? I think that those eyes look pretty close, and I would give this set a thumbs up. So here is the color chart that I mentioned before. It's got the colors, it's got names and numbers. Now the numbers you can check on this reference picture that I also added because the pencils themselves don't have numbers, and there's also a little bit of an area to color. I hope you enjoy that too on the color chart. Once again, thank you all so much. I will see you soon, and stay tuned for this giveaway also, and find me on Facebook in my coloring gallery for the giveaway and coloring contest that's going on right now. Thank you. Bye. P.S. The reference chart is available below also.